Hey friends, so I want you to check out what I think is one of my favorite beginner poi tricks. This right here is the windmill. It is an amazing poi trick, not just because it's really the first thing that we learn that forces us to change our levels with poi, but also it integrates really well into things like waist straps, giving us access to things like the 4-beat fountain, as well as being able to open up into bigger volume tricks like this variation that we sometimes call Poi Man. But how do you get your windmills down? Well, I know 3 distinct methods for doing it, and I'm going to guide you through each and every one in the course of this video. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, we're going to dive into poi windmills, and hopefully, we're going to find a way that I can get them across to you in a way that'll make sense. But before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecca, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Pyroterra Light Toys, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these awesome companies and the work they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friend of the channel, Pekka Pekkonen. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. Alright, so the poi windmill. The theory on these is pretty easy to understand as things go. Basically, I am just performing a 2-beat, that is something like a tic-tac, going back and forth across my body, but I'm doing it here in wall plane. That is spinning my poi as though they are brushing up against an invisible wall in front of me, and doing it up here around my shoulders. I think that these are called windmills because they look more or less like a windmill's blades turning around up high. And of course, this is a poi trick that we do up around our shoulders, so we are also doing it up high. It also does present a little bit of a challenge though, because this is one of those first places where we have to learn a poi trick where the reach is just a little bit uncomfortable. So it does beg the question of how exactly do we pull this off? So in the course of my poi career, I have encountered 3 different methods for teaching this trick. The first is the first one that I ever encountered that I'll refer to as the corkscrew method. The second is what I'll refer to as the shoulder reel method. And the third is what I'll refer to as the Russian method, because I learned it from some Russian poi spinners. I think all of them are good in their own ways, and they all also have drawbacks. So I'm going to walk you through each one, and you can decide for yourself which of these approaches is the best one for you to get down your poi windmills. Alright, so first up, let's talk a little bit about the corkscrew method. Corkscrews were something that were pretty intuitive for me to pick up when I first got into poi. Basically, they involve just taking the poi around back behind your head and then back in front of you. I've done tutorials on corkscrews as well. I can go ahead and list them down in the description as well as up in the cards. But the long and short is that we're going to go ahead and just spin our poi around in split time, same direction in a horizontal plane here. I'm letting my right hand lead both of the poi as they go back and forth, up and down like so. Now, if you've got down your corkscrews, there's a really weird trick that you can use to turn these into windmills. And that is that you bend over into them so that all of a sudden the corkscrews are going around your head rather than, say, in front of you or above and below your head. Now from here, you can begin the work of kind of straightening up, of trying to keep the poi in the same orientation relative to your head that they are when you're performing the corkscrews. But of course, you try and return to a more vertical kind of positioning here, a more vertical kind of stature. And by the time you get fully vertical, in theory, you should be performing a windmill. Now, caveats going with this are that I actually do find it quite difficult to make the transition from the horizontal plane up into the vertical plane. This took me several weeks to learn how to do. And when I finally did it, I discovered that I was performing a windmill in the opposite direction that I meant to. I was performing a windmill going around counterclockwise when my dominant direction of spin is clockwise. And eventually I had to go through and learn this in both directions. But it does work. It just takes a little bit of time, and it does kind of make use of a trick that may be a little bit more intuitive for you in order to get to that final position. All right, so let's talk about method number 2. This consists of learning the windmill as a series of shoulder reels. The first windmill tutorial I ever uploaded to my channel, in fact, used this method. And it works something like this. Basically, you want to turn your entire upper body over towards your stage right and get the poi spinning forwards in split time, same direction, with your hands up near your ears. You're going to pay careful attention to that poi in your left hand, and as it passes by your elbow, you're going to follow it around and you're going to turn over to your stage left. Now the poi appear to be spinning reverse in split time, same direction with your hands up near your ears. Watch very carefully for when your right hand is going up towards the ceiling, and when that happens, you follow it around back over to stage right. So you follow the left poi over to stage left, and you follow the right poi back over to stage right. Make sense? You're going back and forth between having the poi spinning forward split time same direction and reverse split time same direction, keeping your hands above your shoulders. Once that gets to feel kind of normal, you're going to try and do a specific number of reps in each spot here. So I'm going to start off thinking I'm going to do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 reps before I turn, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 before I turn again. Make sure you can do 10 reps of that, not just spinning the poi for 10 times, but going back and forth 10 times. When that gets to feel comfortable, cut the number in half, thinking 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and turn, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and turn. Once again, be able to do this 10 times. Once that gets to feel comfortable, I want you to instead go to reps of 3, thinking 3, 2, 1, and turn, and 3, 2, 1, and turn, like so. From here, you're going to go down to just thinking 1, 2 reps, 1, 2 reps, 1, 2 reps, 1, 2 reps, and then just think that it's going to be a single rep, following left, following right, following left, following right, following left, following right. And by now, you should be picking out that we have hit a windmill. The windmill is just us taking these shoulder reels straight back and forth like so. Now, learning with this method also takes a while, and it also gets you really comfortable with moving your hands and poi up near your shoulders. You're going to wind up with a lot more control learning it by this method. And of course, also, you're going to wind up in a place where more body movement is involved in keeping the windmill going rather than it just being strictly through your hands. I think all those things are good things overall. The downside, once again, of course, is that it does take a little while to learn this way, and you need to get down some of those fundamental skills of just being able to keep the poi spinning up near your shoulders for a long time. You will feel this one in your shoulders, I guarantee it. But I think that the control you get out of it kind of offsets that. Now, all that said, if you want a foolproof method that doesn't take as long, we do have one more method for you here. But before I drop that method on you, if you come this far, I'm guessing it means that you are into poi and flow arts videos, which if so, I have great news because I upload lots of those. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, and especially the new ones as they drop, what I'd love for you to do is subscribe to the channel and ring a bell so you know exactly when that happens. Not only do you get to see new videos right away, but also it helps my channel grow, so everybody wins. Thanks in advance. All right, so here's our last method, which I will also call the Russian method. Here's how it works. Essentially, you're going to start over on your stage left with your poi spinning reverse, and I want you to first drop your left hand poi and then your right hand poi behind their respective shoulders. Again, we bring the left hand back and then the right hand back, and you bring the poi to a stop back behind your shoulders. You're going to turn over to your stage right, and you're going to pull out your left hand and then your right hand, one after each other. We think left and right, like so. You should now have the poi spinning forwards on your sides in split time, same direction. We'll turn back to stage left and do it again. We're going to drop the left hand and then the right hand. We turn over to stage right and we bring out the left hand first and then the right hand. Cool? Cool. All right, now let's start to work our way up to our windmills here. Once again, over here at stage left, I want you to drop the left hand and then the right hand behind your shoulders. And as you come over to stage right, I want you to do something different this time. Rather than bringing your poi out and keeping them spinning for a while and then turning to your stage left, I instead, as you pull those poi out, want you to turn from stage left, or rather stage right to stage left, all in one motion, like so. We turn over to stage right, and you want to imagine that you're sweeping your left hand around in a big circle. In fact, you can just practice doing this with your left hand to start with. Take just your left hand, swing it out and around in front of you, and then drop it back on your left side. Turn to your right, swing it around in a big circle, and bring it back behind your left shoulder. Swing it out and around in a big circle, bring it back behind your left shoulder. Do the same thing with your right. Bring it out and around in a big circle, drop it behind your right shoulder when you're facing back over to stage left. From stage right here, bring it out and around in a big circle as you turn and bring it back behind your shoulder. Big circle, bring it back. 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 Now we're going to do it with both hands. So, as we're faced over to stage right here, you're going to first bring out the left hand and then the right hand, sweeping left, right, and then bring them both behind your shoulders again as you turn back over to stage left. Turn back to stage right, swing out left, right, bring them both back around. Again, turn to stage right, left, right, as you turn to stage left and bring them both back around. Sweep them around, left, right, swing them around, left, right, like so. As you do this, I want you to work towards taking less of a pause when you bring the poi back behind your shoulders. Try to keep them in motion the entire way around here. So rather than stopping, turning, and bringing them out, you only let them dip for a moment behind your shoulders as you're making this turn here. It changes what feels like almost doing stalls with the poi behind your shoulders into doing something that feels more like, say, a flower petal perhaps. As you're doing this and taking them around, you'll notice we've gotten to what looks very much like a windmill. From here, it's a choose your own adventure. You can either practice making this motion a little bit smoother and not having to turn your upper body from side to side, or you can try keeping your hands up next to your shoulders and ears the entire time. Rather than taking those big swings around, you just keep your hands up close next to your head. Or you can work on doing both, keeping your shoulders at minimum movement and keeping your hands high and tight up near your ears to give that classical windmill presentation. Yeah. Okay, so you've learned your basic windmills. Now what next? How do you transition in and out of them? What kind of variations are there of them out there? What other exercises should you be doing in order to really get these down? I'm so glad you asked, because that is the theme of the Flow Circle for December. The Flow Circle is a weekly exclusive lesson that's available only to my Patreon supporters, and this month the theme is windmills. We'll talk about everything from basic presentation to how you do things like opening up volume and into weird variations that you may or may not have seen before. Plus which I'll show you how to get down your windmills going both ways and to gain full fluency of movement with them. To sign up for this, go check out the Flow Circle at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. The first lesson is available now. How did you first learn windmills? Did you learn one of the methods that I outlined in this video? If not, I would love to hear what other techniques there are out there. Go ahead and leave me a comment and let me know how you learned them. This video and all the videos on this channel would not be possible without my amazing supporters on Patreon. In particular, I'd love to give a shout out to my Flow patrons who are listed on screen right now. Thank you, you all rock. And if you enjoy the content that I produce and you'd like to see me make more of it, the best way to do that is to sign up over at my Patreon at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi, where you can get access to a whole host of awesome rewards, but better than that, you'll be supporting me in my mission to bring poi spinning and flow arts to the whole wide world. So go check that out, please and thank you. And if you'd like to go further down the windmill rabbit hole, perhaps you'd enjoy this video right here. I've made a lot of them over the years, and windmills have been a particular interest for me. So go check that out. I hope that you'll enjoy it. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to get out and flow yourself today, and I'll see you with a new video real soon. Take care now. Peace.